Is it wise for us to pay attention when the king speaks, especially when the king says he loves gold? And you know, when the king loves gold, he also loves silver, because silver is gold's favorite little cousin. Jeffrey Gundlach, the bond king. Do you know this guy? If not, do a little research on Jeffrey Gundlach. He's the CEO of Double Line Capital. I've followed him for years. I'm going to tell you, for people on Wall Street, he's different. He's no BS, and he's a real guy and the real deal. He has a webcast he does from time to time, and he spoke very favorable about gold. And again, by default, gold's little cousin, silver. Fascinating information. We're going to dig into a few things he said and see why the future looks bright. 2023 looks bright for gold and silver right now. Mr. Gundlach might be the bond king, but he's not you. And you are the most important thing right now, right here in Ron's Basement. We're together from wherever you are in the world. Trust me, you're special. Your brain is just as legitimate and powerful as Jeffrey Gundlach or anybody else that we may look up to. Sure, he may have $2.2 billion, but that doesn't make him any better or any worse, for that matter, than you or me. You are special. Remember this, you're the apple of your mama's eye. I'm glad you're here. If you enjoy my basement, please subscribe right here. Give the video a thumbs up. Now, what did Jeffrey have to say about gold and silver that has us so excited? I'll read some quotes to you. You don't want to hear me talk the whole time now, do you? So Jeffrey said that it's a reasonably good time to buy gold and own gold. Let that sink in. One of my recommendations to own was gold. Over the past 2.5 years, you haven't had much action in gold, other than sideways. In other currencies, gold has done quite well. And now, as the dollar is weakening, gold is back. Let me repeat that. Gold is back. Gold is back. And it's above its 200-day moving average. You know I'm really lucky to have you here with me right now. But Jeffrey Gundlach had some more interesting things to say, and that was that right now the yield curve is screaming recession. We know what that means. When the economy slows down, right? The Fed's going to have to loosen up, and when they loosen up, that means rocket fuel for gold and silver. And we already knew this next point, but it still bears repeating because it feels good to hear it. Other indicators pointing to a looming recession include dramatic drop in the consumer savings rate. Nobody has any money in their savings accounts anymore. Hopefully you do. Consumers dipping into their credit cards. If you've got credit card debt, like I've already told you, make that your #1 priority to pay that off. And the leading economic index, LEI, published by the conference, and the recent ISM PMI data. Okay, that's a lot of abbreviations, but basically they all say things are going to Poopville. All right, guys, this last point we're going to talk about is the most important thing we need to pay attention to, because it could be atomic for the price of gold and silver. Now, it's real important, but it's still not as important as you. However, Jeffrey starts to refer to the possibility of deflation when he says this. He's not ruling out negative inflation as CPI comes down this year. He compared the movement of inflation to a swinging pendulum. It's absurd, I'm quoting him here, to believe that the inflation rate would drop from 9% all the way down to 2% and then magically stop there. Well, you know Jerome Powell, right? He's the Wizard of Oz. He can do magic, sure. It's almost like a law of physics when you have a pendulum. When it gets to an extreme and starts going back along the arc the other way, it doesn't stop down in the middle. It goes past the middle. And hey, look, what kind of track record does the Federal Reserve have at being able to control and predict inflation? Remember just 1.5 years ago when they were selling us the fact that inflation was temporary? Oh, and then inflation was transitory. Oh, and then reality hit. And inflation is a big, big problem. So to think that they can control this wildly swinging pendulum, have you seen a pendulum when it starts swinging wildly? It's crazy. You can't just stop it. Jeffrey's got a great point. And we could swing into a deflationary environment. And you think the Fed would freak out if that happened. Right. We're talking about them becoming looser with monetary policy if they just get inflation under control. If we swing all the way to deflation, and really I don't hear anybody else talking about this, but if that were to happen, again, it would be an explosion in money printing from the Fed. The last thing Jeffrey said was this: I would suggest, and I'm quoting him here, that if inflation gets to 2% over the course of 2023, inflation will probably go negative on a year-over-year basis. So there you have it from the Bond King. He likes gold, and he's talking about the possibility of deflation. Woof, this is going to be an interesting year. Rest assured, I'll be here for you through it all. And until next time, be good to yourself.